What's good, everyone? Welcome back to My First Kicks. This is episode 130, and this week we welcome Daryl Glover to the podcast, aka Brother D. And it's a hell of an episode. We talk about him growing up in New Jersey, his love for Kobe, and lots of other stuff. I will have to say, disclaimer, if you're watching this on the YouTubes and you're looking at me right now as I'm looking at you, just know there is a couple times where my camera falls down. I think it's like one time, but I'm gonna just say it safe, play it safe, and say a couple times because I have no idea. But this new setup that I have, because I was using two monitors at one time, and I had to get rid of one of the other monitors, and it's causing my camera. Well, this one specifically, my camera to just like fall down, and I was like struggling with it the entire episode. I was being really self conscious about it, but I hope the episode did come out really well. I think that like we touched on a lot of things, and we also touched on Kari, aka Sneaker Fetish, who's I had a interaction with him this past week again on Twitter of just about the idea of just what sneakers are, why sneakers should still be interesting, and I think it's I say this to a lot of people because you know sneakers are super mainstream now. I think they're super mainstream in my opinion, and brands are trying to create sneaker culture or like feed you sneaker culture, which is all right. They had to capitalize on the main people that are continuously buying every pair every week, that are spending their hard earned money on their brands, and so catering to people who are spending that money like focused on just having a mass collection is important. And so like the reason why I create content and the reason why I love sneakers is different than everybody else's, or some people feel the same way as me about it. But I think that when it comes to collecting kicks, like if you don't have to have everything, and when it comes to creating content, it's like you have to have everything, or else your views, your 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 listeners will go down drastically. And that's why I like creating content specifically for people who just want to hear stories about sneakers, or how much sneakers mean to everybody that comes onto this podcast. So I really appreciate everybody for rocking with me this far. Shout out to y'all. We hit 10,000 listens, 10,000 downloads, 10,000 listens on this podcast. It's a huge accomplishment in my idea. I didn't think it would get like 10 listeners, but people are jumping in every week, and I appreciate y'all. Continue to share it. Let's make it to 20,000, and then let's make it to 50,000 after that, 100,000, because I'm going to keep making content. As I said on Twitter, I realized, early on, who am I making this podcast for? And early on, I just realized like I'm gonna make this for me, and I'm gonna put it out there. If it gets accepted, it's accepted. But if it doesn't, that's okay too. But I think that there are so many ears, so many eyes that this podcast can appeal to. And I just love having a guest each week to talk sneakers and to talk, like, tell and hear stories, because everybody has a different story for every pair. You and I can have the same pair of sneakers that we love and admire for years and years and years. And I can have a guest on that can shift your whole concept of how much you love this sneaker, and you can hear how much they love that sneaker, and it just brings back that familiarity of why you love sneakers. So shout out to everybody that's been listening. Shout out to all 10,000 listens that everybody have done. Also wanted to say that it's we are, because of the 10,000 listens, I'm just gonna say we are. I'm bringing back a guest that we have had previously on the podcast, but recently he's just skyrocketed. So next week, be on the lookout for that episode. And on to where you can find Brother D. You can find him on all social medias as Brother underscore D or underscore Brother underscore D underscore, which that's specifically Twitter. He has a link tree that I'll be putting in the bio of or the description of this podcast. You know what to do. And you know where to find me. I am Who Is Haas on all social medias. Follow the podcast at My First Kicks Pod. Follow the podcast or subscribe and like the podcast on YouTube at My First Kicks. Please, please, please. I need to make a big push for this because, YouTube lowered their monetization requirements. So I'm just trying. I got to start grinding and making sure that we are on there and very present. So I will do that just so we can get a little shekels thrown our way. You know what I mean? Because podcasting is not cheap. And of course, follow the podcast at My First Kicks on TikTok. And if you have a My First Kick story, hit me up, My First Kicks pod at gmail.com. Oh, and also, please, I hope you didn't skip this. Also, if you're listening to this on Friday, Mr. Miller invited me, Morgan, and Dre the Shoe God onto his show. We're going to talk sneakers Friday, 9 p.m. Eastern. If you follow Mr. Miller, Mr_Miller1, or if you follow the My First Kicks pod IG, just look out for me, the live notification, because all three of us will be going live. Well, all four of us will be going live. Me, Morgan, Dre the Shoe God, and Mr. Miller. We're talking kicks. We're talking social media. It's going to be a really good time. Hopefully it could be a continuing series because, we have a lot of insight and we have a lot to talk about. So, again, please check that out. And on to this week's guest, Brother D. But before we jump into this episode, I want to talk to you about Drops and Collect by Soul Savvy. With Drops and Collect, you are able to stay ahead of the game. Using Drops, you can enter raffles and set alerts for any restocks. Well, I can't stop it anyway. Whatever. Before we jump into the episode, I want to talk to you about Drops and Collect by Soul Savvy. With Drops and Collect, you'll be able to stay ahead of the game. Using Drops, you can enter raffles and set alarms for any restocks. It would also help you to never miss a release ever again. I mean, my notifications on, and every morning my notifications go crazy. It's right before 10 o'clock. And after you cop some fresh kicks, use Collect to manage your collection. I'm still in the process of adding my kicks. I mean, I have a ton, but it's fine. But what's cool about Collect is that you can also make trades with no fees if you're a current member. But don't worry, if you aren't a member, you just have to pay a flat rate of $8. Now, how do you get these apps? Just use the links in the description of this podcast. Download these apps and grow your collection by also helping the podcast. That's right. Just use the links in the description and start expanding your collection today. Hey, Daryl, welcome to the podcast.
Thanks for having me, bro.
Nah, man, this is so like you don't follow me, but I've been following you for a while since I tried to like start getting popping on sneaker Twitter. Like,
Nah, I followed you back though. I followed you back.
So you follow me back now. But like
good, we good.
On my other account, on my Who Is Haas account, like
okay.
Yeah, that was like when I started talking about sneakers on there like actively. It was like Sock Jig followed me, like, because I was just like, oh, am I part of the sneaker scene there? Like,
word.
Because sneaker Twitter is cutthroat, man. It's cutthroat.
Cutthroat.
But for people who aren't familiar with you, how about you introduce yourself?
So my name is Brother D. Real name is Daryl. You can find me on Twitter at _BROTHA_D. I am a sneaker collector. I've been collecting sneakers for over 20 years. collect all different shoes. I'm a size 13. So if you got any steals or deals, holla at me. You can follow me on Instagram at brother_D. That's BROTHA_D.
Hmm.
Big Kobe fan right now. I'm actually in the Kobe, my man cave, which is the Kobe room. So you can see my Kobe jerseys,
Yeah.
all purple. The whole purple wall is this is nothing but Kobe memorabilia in this particular room.
Hmm.
Big Kobe fan, big Lakers fan. I love sneakers. And yeah, that's me.
Yeah, I mean it's wild that because I've gotten to see some really cool Kobe's from your page because like
For sure.
your collection runs deep on Kobe's, and I was
Yeah.
never like I got by the time I got into Kobe's it was the my first Kobe was the Galaxy sixes,
The seven. Kobe
seven.
Galaxy 7.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yep. Yep.
Those were my
Yep.
first ones. That's when I was just like, ah, yo, I'm gonna give these a shot.
For
And
sure. For
then
sure.
and I walked in and I got them a size 14 because I'm a size 13 too.
Okay.
And that was my first Kobe. And I would be like, you gotta preserve
Mm-hmm.
that glow in the dark, man. And then
Yeah.
because that bottom would get so messy and it would just look so
Yeah.
weird.
Mm-hmm.
And also
You
just
still got them?
nah. So I mean
Okay.
I can go into that story because it's not a good story, but
For sure. For
it's not a
sure.
good story morally, I want to say. But it's like so I was trying to get out. The goal was so I put them on goat like
Mm-hmm.
I want to say well, when was that 20 I don't know. There's I'll when I wrap the bow on it, you'll understand what happens. So I had them on Go for like a year, right? And
Mm-hmm.
then I was just trying to what the whole plan was I was just gonna sell them for as much as I can get and then get a size 13 for that same price because I just
Got it.
I wanted to go
Got it.
down because I have the cheetah pairs
Mm-hmm.
which is one of my favorites and I was just like yo these are way comfortable I would rather get them in my size because
Yeah.
I was swimming in the 14 and
Yeah.
so I put them up on Goat. No, it wasn't selling. But there was no like it wasn't like because like StockX will let you know like 30 days, like, yo, I think you should lower your price. Goat doesn't do that or didn't do that at the time. So I had them up for a year. Then untimely time, Kobe passed
Yeah.
away
And they
and
sold.
yeah, they sold immediately. And I had them up for I think it was like 350 at the time
Mm-hmm.
because I think that was like the cheapest size 13 I could find on Goat. So I was just gonna do the
Mm-hmm.
101 boom because with the Goat
Yeah.
credit, and
Yeah.
then those sold immediately like that morning, and I didn't think I totally forgot because I was just like stunned like. You get such like crazy news like that. Like I'm not thinking the first time I
Mm-hmm.
go, oh, let me go take down the Kobe's.
Yeah. Yeah.
So they like once that news went out, those sold, and I was just like, man, this sucks. Because like at that point, I was like, I should just keep them, and now I'm just
Yeah.
like, yeah, I'm not one of these people that are just like, oh, because I'm pretty sure somebody did really want them, or it's gonna
Mm-hmm.
eventually get into the hands of that. So I believe in
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
And I didn't want them just sitting in my closet, so
Yeah.
I was just like, fine, like I'll just sell them. I mean, I sent
Yeah.
them, and that was it. So yeah, that's
There you go.
my Galaxy Kobe story.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
but yeah, it was just like that was the first time, my first Kobe, and then from there I was
Got
just
it.
like, yeah, I bought other ones, and I mean, not to make this about me, but one of my Kobe grails are it's not even a Kobe shoe. It's like it's the Back to the Future. What is it the 2K4s? The
Oh, the Marty McFly Hyperdunk.
Yeah, yes, that's what it is. Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah, that's one of my
Those.
favorite Kobe's. Yeah. So the misconception. So the Kobe, the Hyperdunk was actually supposed to be Kobe's model. A lot of people don't know that. It
Right.
was supposed to be Kobe's model.
Hmm.
But then he ended up. They just ended up using that for like a wider spread Nike basketball reach. But like that's pretty much like, I guess you could say like how the foam posit is the penny. It kind of is the Hyperdunk is to Kobe for the most part.
Oh, I mean, yeah, I associated with Kobe, and like I love
Yeah.
that shoe. That one and the Aston
Yeah.
Martin
Yeah,
colorway they
and
did
that's his
too.
P. Yep, yep,
Yeah.
yep, yep. I actually put those on my Instagram the other day.
Ugh,
The Aston
yeah.
the Aston Martin Perry. That's amazing Perry.
Amazing, man. But You're here because of the question that I ask everybody each week. And let's just jump right into the question, because,
Yeah.
and that question is, what's your first kicks? What's that first pair of sneakers you absolutely needed to have?
The first pair of sneakers that I absolutely had to have was the Air Jordan 13, white,
Hmm.
black, and red. We call it the He Got Games.
Hmm.
I was in elementary school, fourth grade, and one day I walked into class, and literally every single person in my class had this particular pair of shoes, but me. Instantly fell in love with that shoe. Went home, and I'm like, Mom, we gotta go to the mall. You gotta go get me this shoe. And she's like, Nah, we can't do it. I don't got it. I
Hmm.
begged her for like, bro, like a week or so straight. And like I'm telling you, every day I'm walking to school, walking class, everybody's. It felt like everybody in the school had it, but me. So I kept begging her, kept begging her. She finally agreed, and when she agreed to take me, we went to the mall and they were sold out in my size. So I ended up actually getting a pair of the Grant Hill twos, which is another one of my favorite pair of shoes, but that was my consolation prize. So it still didn't like scratch the itch.
Hmm.
Um, and then when they ended up retroing the 13s in the DMP pack in 2008, that's when I finally got my pair.
Yeah.
But that's my all-time favorite shoe. That's the shoe that not introduced me to shoes, but made me fall in love with shoes, made me
Yeah.
want to, make me a collector, made me want to, be into sneakers and learn about shoes and research shoes.
Hmm.
Literally every time that particular shoe, that particular colorway drops, I get 2 to 3 pairs every single drop.
Damn.
That's my number one shoe.
Hmm. I'm definitely like, I always feel everybody, when it comes to sneakers, when it comes to being a sneakerhead, or I mean, I don't know, like the term everybody loves to throw around, I think that
Yeah,
there is always somebody has like a favorite Jordan that just like it
for
hits
sure.
them,
For sure.
like,
For sure. For sure.
and it's like that's like the base, like that's like the first, the it's the start of the drug. Like somebody's tapping the
Mm-hmm.
vein, and like
Mm-hmm.
we going to work. Like
Yep. 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 Yep.
you about to feel this high.
Yep.
But like, I mean, where'd you grow up? What school, like, what
So
school?
I'm from Pleasantville, New Jersey, which is South Jersey. For those that don't know,
Mhm.
then I'm literally from the neighboring city of Atlantic City. So literally, I'm not even a mile away from Atlantic City. So
Oh,
that's
damn, yeah.
that's where I'm from. Grew up there, Atlantic County, so not far from Philly. So
Hmm.
trying to, for those who are not from New Jersey or the tri-state area, I'm trying to geographically place. Majority, probably 98% of the people that live in New Jersey are Eagles fans and
Hmm.
Sixers fans. So I was a Lakers fan and a Raiders fan. But like I said, first shoe I fell in love with Air Jordan 13, and that's what started my journey.
I mean, like growing up in that New Jersey part of the tri-state. I was trying to like put the sentence in my head
Yeah,
as I said it.
yeah,
But
yeah, yeah.
like, yeah, growing up in that area, you're like not you're kind of far, but not too far from New York City. Like, so you get a
Mm-hmm.
little bit of that. I mean,
Yeah.
new people go to Atlantic City. If you aren't familiar with Atlantic City, if you're listening, it's like mini Vegas. But like,
Yeah.
there's a moment that it was real cool, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And
Really cool, yeah.
yeah, and then now we're at this moment where they're trying to get back up there. Like,
Yeah,
part of it is
exactly.
cool, like, cause I was up
Yeah,
there
yeah.
recently.
Okay.
Yeah, my boys were playing a show on they had a festival on the beach there recently,
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
so my boys, shout out to the Oxymorons, they were playing a show, so they told me I went with them, and so I was like on stage and stuff. It was crazy.
Oh wow, okay,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah, yeah. And
Yeah,
so
Atlantic
yeah,
City in the nineties, Atlantic City was really, really like a popular place to be. Like, a lot of, if the fights weren't in Vegas, they were in
yeah.
Atlantic City. A lot of Tyson's fights and stuff. A lot of these fights were in Atlantic City. The casinos were at their peak in Atlantic City.
Hmm.
A lot of people, including myself, I guess. I mean, I won't make my political stance, but that's when Trump was very loved. He
Hmm.
had multiple casinos in Atlantic City. He wasn't doing his political thing. It was really just strictly about making money, having casinos, and other businesses that he had.
Right, yeah.
So the city was definitely thriving and was definitely competitive with Las Vegas. Now it's, it started to die, and now it's on the trying to go on up and up. They just opened
Mm-hmm.
the water park and all these other fun
Oh,
things.
they
So
did.
yeah, they're water parks. I think it opened like
Oh,
last week or this week or something like that.
I gotta check that out because like I try to at least go once a year. I mean, it's the rare occasion I've gone twice this year already,
Oh,
but
there you
like
go.
yeah,
There you
yeah.
go.
So I mean, Atlantic City starting. I definitely think it's also on the up, and but like
Yeah.
uh, I think the first time I went there, I was so hyped to go to the Nike clearance store out there because
Oh yeah, yeah,
I'd
yeah,
never
yeah, yeah,
been, and I was
yeah,
like, "Yo, let's
yeah,
go!" Like I get to go.
yeah,
Like always, like especially when you're scrolling on Instagram, everybody's always like, "You gotta hit up the Nike outlets," blah blah blah. But I live
yeah,
in New York City. We don't really have like we have one
yeah,
spot, but
yeah.
it's so close. It's like it's easy to get to. So
Hmm.
everything's already ransacked. So like if you're going
Yeah,
there for a deal, like if you're going there for like workout shoes, that's the perfect spot. You'll get them
yeah,
because everybody
yeah,
else is looking for like the steals and like the,
yeah, yeah,
So yeah, I
yeah.
mean, it's tough. But so then from the 13, what was the like the next shoe that you were like, yo, or is it you stayed on the 13s for a while?
So I started with the 13. I'm in like in the fourth grade, so
Hmm.
and I didn't get those until 2008. So it was like a probably like a 10 year. It took me like not even yeah, it took me about 10 years to get those.
Hmm.
But in between then, I was getting shoes. I started working. I started working. I was like the summer of me turning 12 years old. That's also the summer that I decided to become a sneakerhead.
Jeez.
Um, but the next shoe that was like, I absolutely have to have this shoe no matter what, like get it or die trying was probably the Snake Pool Hyperdunk, which is my all-time grail. Kobe Hyperdunk inspired by when Kobe was on the Jackass commercial when he jumped over the pool of snakes,
Hmm.
all yellow, purple, Laker colorway. Like I said, Kobe PE. That's like my number one grail. Something that I literally hunted it down, researched it, knew where it was gonna be at. Tracked down a pair on ISS, I believe it was.
Ooh, ISS. You're bringing it
Yeah,
back on
throwback.
that one.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
was there too, man.
Uh, Paid, sent my
Yeah.
money in.
Hmm.
I think that's the first time I even made a PayPal. I think I made a PayPal account initially to pay for my grail.
Yeah.
Um, so I sent my money. They sent it to me, and then that's it. Actually, fun fact, some people have grails like, oh, this is my holy grail. I love this shoe, and
Yeah.
people like some people spend their entire lives or years trying to acquire it and are unsuccessful.
Hmm.
Some people, you know, spend years or months or time or a crazy amount of money and then successfully achieve their goal in obtaining that shoe.
Hmm.
I actually own two of my girls. I actually own two pairs of my
Wow.
girl, which is kind of like it's actually unheard of. Like nobody gets their girl time too because usually they spend their whole life trying to get it. And it's such an uphill battle of ups and
Hmm.
downs and highs and lows and lots of money, and it's a witch hunt trying to find it. And either you get it or you get the one and you're satisfied and stop looking because you're like satisfied. I actually own two of my grill,
I
two
mean,
pairs.
it's wild because like I mean I talk about it like I a lot of people on here a lot of people who talk about sneakers have things in my opinion that they the hills that they pick to just die on
Mm-hmm.
and for me it's the term grail
Yeah,
and just like because like now people are just like oversaturating the meeting or making it
yeah,
they were like yeah these are gonna eventually turn into my grail like
yeah,
I hated
yeah. I
hearing
don't
that
like that. Yeah, I don't
yeah
like that. Yeah, I
it's
don't like that.
like I mean
Yeah.
even recently with the what is it those fours those there's like it's like a silver four that's dropping soon. I'm trying to remember the name of it. It's like the Frost Fours or something like that. But
Oh, I
the
think I've seen those. Yeah.
yeah, the sneaker news, I think it was the sneaker news. Some one of those media outlets, the sneaker media outlets was just like, do these shoes have grail potential? And
Yeah. No.
I was like,
No.
what? What?
Yeah. See, and that's the problem, man. Like everybody wants to like throw the word grill around loosely, or like they kind of want to influence people to like get this shoe, or they try to like um artificially like create hype around shoes and things like if you like the shoe, you like the shoe. If you love the shoe, if you have a connection with the shoe, but everybody's different. Everybody has a different connection with a particular shoe. It can be like the storytelling, it can be inspiration. Like you may like a social status sneaker, like let's say for like the free lunch shoes.
Hmm.
You can be like, hey, when I grew up, my parents were less fortunate. I was on the free lunch program, so I got the free chocolate milk, and I didn't have to pay no money. So like that's a connection to me, and I like the colors, and it's it's my school colors. Everybody has a different reason to why they have a girl, so I try not to knock it. But I will say, like, when people like, somebody may see like a teaser pic, like, Z sneakerheads may say like 2024, this Jordan 7 is coming out. You just see like, some Photoshop
Yeah,
colorway,
a mock
some
up.
mock-up. Thank you. You may see some mock-up, and they're just like, oh, those are my grails. And it's like, bro, you haven't seen the shoe, you haven't seen detailed pictures, you don't know what is the inspiration, you don't even know if it's going to be a women's exclusive, you don't know, like, you have
Zero idea.
zero information, zero idea, and you're automatically like, yo, these are my girls. Like, I'm ready to pay $1,000. And it's like, bro, that's not what it is. I mean, usually it's like there's some type of connection, or there's some
Yeah.
type of relationship between you and the shoe, or like I said, the storytelling, the colorway, has something
Hmm.
meaningful, or connection to your family. Like, it's usually some type of emotional, physical connection or love that is tied into it being a girl. Like, and it's going to be your girl, and the shoe's not dropping for a year and a half. That's kind of nuts to me. But I mean, to each
Nah,
his
yeah.
own.
I
To each his
mean,
own. If they like it, I love it. It has nothing to do with me, and I try not to get involved. So that's what it is.
I mean, I'm always like the person that be like, "Yo, I just got my grills," and they'll show like a shoe that came out like 6 months ago, and
Yeah,
so I don't go, that can't be your grill. I just go, so why is it your grill? Because like,
for sure, for sure,
right,
for
if you
sure,
if
for
you
sure.
can't if you can't give me like an actual answer,
Hmm.
then it's like, why should I be as invested into why you got your grill?
For sure, for sure, for sure, for sure.
Yeah, so I think definitely when it comes to like sneakerheads, we definitely should be a lot more, accepting of people jumping in, jumping out of sneaker culture. But what was it about sneaker culture for you that you were so captivated in such a young age that you wanted to jump in?
To be honest, man, when I got into sneakers, so this was, like I said, I got into sneakers and decided, like, hey, this is gonna be me, this is gonna be my way of life, this is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna start saving my paychecks, and then I'm gonna start, getting money and getting allowance and putting it towards shoes. I was in the eighth grade. I was in the summer of going to my ninth grade year. So in the eighth grade, going into the ninth grade.
Hmm.
So this is 2002,
Hmm.
2001, 2002. So when I got into shoes, it was like a secret society.
Yeah.
There were not many of us at all.
Hmm.
Um, so to the point where, like, when I started to show up to school, and like when I would go school shopping, we wore uniforms. Um, when I would go school shopping, people
Hmm.
usually wore one shoe or maybe two shoes. I was buying like 4, 5, 6 pairs at a time.
Hmm.
And when I would have I legitimately had a rotation of shoes my freshman year of high school, and it was like, yo, what are you doing all these shoes? When I started collecting shoes and
Uh-huh.
got into sneakers, like I said, it was like a secret society, bro. It wasn't many sneakerheads. I didn't know any sneakerheads. Like, I knew people that loved sneakers, that were into sneakers, that knew about sneakers. Like, they knew like that Barclays were popular, Hirachis were popular, Air
Hmm.
Force Ones were popular, but like nobody used the word sneakerhead really. Nobody had a collection or nothing like that. They just had like pairs that they bought and acquired and stacked up or whatever like that. But like I said, I had a rotation, like a 6 to 8 pair rotation my freshman year, and I was looked at like as the weirdo.
Oh,
So like
really?
literally, I was like a weirdo. So like, in order to find like my community, I guess the sneakerhead community was Nike Talk. That was the first website that I got
Hmm.
familiar with and fell in love with it. Got on sneakerhead, NikeTalk.com, and found other sneakerheads, other people like me that had this passion for shoes. So where it's at now, it's a different breed, man.
Yeah.
Like, the love is not the same, the interest is not the same. Um, the reason behind why they started this is not the same. A lot of it is for attention.
Hmm.
They want, everybody wants to get clicks on their social media. Everybody wants a bunch of likes. They want free product. They think they know it all. They
Mm-hmm.
only want the expensive shoes. Like, you know, like, it's a lot of people that say they're sneakerheads. They don't even buy what they like. You know, sneakerheads is all about buying what you like, buying what you love, getting fresh, getting fly,
Mm-hmm.
you know, knowing the ins and outs of a shoe, knowing the history of a shoe, knowing, you know, Michael Jordan's entire line and like how he got signed, when he got signed, what this colorway mean, what's that colorway mean, why does he wear this particular color, what's the inspiration between this particular model, you know, what shoes are pennies, what shoes are Barclays, you know, what shoes did Scottie Pippen wear, why did he wear Jordans? You know, why did Kobe wear different other shoes other than Nike and
Mm-hmm.
Adidas in this particular year? Why was he wearing a different shoe every game? All these things like help make you a sneakerhead. And some people just like don't know these things. They just like, oh, this pair is worth $1,000 or it's going to be worth $1,000. I want it.
Mm-hmm.
Or oh, this is what everybody's wearing. I want it. Oh, this is what Travis Scott wear. Oh, this is Kanye wore these Aqua 8s with these pants and this shirt and this snapback and big. That's what it is. And like I'm not familiar with that because that's not how I grew up.
I
Yeah.
mean, you're. I mean, I would say because I was around Nike Talk during like the infancies of it when it was on. It was the Easy Boards was the first one, right?
Mhm.
And it was just like you just scroll. You were just scrolling all
Just
day,
scrolling, bro, all day.
scrolling all
That's
day.
it.
Yeah, and like the idea of just like being like understanding like nobody's gonna understand like it was just like a foreign language like you
Yeah.
you'd be talking to people and be like yo man you remember when these came out and this is happening and
Exactly.
this
Exactly.
and then that's when you learn about stores and boutiques and like the routes people were who was working at what like and then like
Yeah.
creating relationships and now it's not
Yeah.
about creating
Yeah.
relationships but
Yeah.
yeah the
Bro,
yeah.
it's you know, it's just a different time. Because I remember like a lot of my information like came exclusively from Nike Talk. Like
Mhm.
I didn't know any info which stores were going to get these shoes, when they were going to get them, how much they were going to cost. Like if I didn't have Nike Talk, I would have been blind for a long time. And even before Nike Talk and before the internet, bro, like, you know, these kids got it easy. They got a sneakers app that has like you can just press a button, enter a raffle or enter for your
Mhm.
size. Then also on the sneakers app, they have a release date calendar. And then they have, you know, Kith and all, you know, all these raffle apps. And bro, we camped for shoes, bro. I camped 7 days for Kobe Bryant's.
Damn.
I camped 8 days for Galaxy foams. Even before then, even like you know, elementary, middle school, I remember when like Jordans didn't even have a release date. Like they released and they didn't
Yeah.
have release dates. You used it to pop in on the store.
Mhm.
Not even just Jordans, there's certain sneakers. I remember when Jordans didn't even release on Saturdays, you released during the weekdays. So you had to like skip school
Mhm.
to decide, oh, I'm gonna go get these 12s, I'm gonna go get these 30s. You had to like not go to school or like have your parents sign you out and then take you back or like fake sick and get taken out of school or go to school, you know, go to school late with the new shoes
Uh-huh.
on. Like that was a thing. These kids got it easy, man. It's just a different, it's a different world we live in.
You bringing me back crazy memories in high school. But
Yeah,
like,
bro.
I wasn't because I didn't grow up with a ton of money, and I wish I should have gotten a job at 12 so I had more sneakers. But
Yeah.
but what was it like for you to like do campouts at such a young age too? Like, is it scary?
See, it wasn't so it wasn't scary. Like I grew up in a not so great neighborhood, but it
Mhm.
wasn't scary because like what it is today, it wasn't. So like when you were camping out for shoes, it was people just like you that really just wanted shoes for the love of shoes. There was no, it was no greed. There was no resale. So like this whole like, oh, I'm in line because like the shoe's okay, I may like it, but ultimately I know it's going to get me $100 over retail. Like
Yeah.
it was none of that. It was like I'm literally in line for this shoe that costs $120. I only have $140 in my pocket. So I'm only going to have $20 left after I make this purchase.
Mhm.
I'm not looking for anything extra from this. I'm literally buying it to wear it. I already have the outfit planned in my head. Either I got the fit at home or I'm gonna wait till next paycheck to get the outfit to go with. Like that's what it was. It was no premeditated like greed or no premeditated come up that you were looking for or waiting for or anticipating. It was everybody like you. Like I said, it was a secret society. So half the time it was only like a line of like 17 people. They might have
Mhm.
got 12 pair. So 5 people in this line might not get them.
Mhm.
Or you gotta hope 7 people in this line are a size 11. There's only 2 size 11, so everybody can be accommodated. And the people that are all the way the same size has got to figure it out. Like
Yeah.
that's what it was. And then it was like, all right, if I can't find it, I'm gonna go on Nike Talk or Marketplace and pay maybe $20-$30 over. Or it may be somebody like, hey, I got 2 pair. Nike sent me 2 pair. Hey, I'm in line and my sister came with me and there's an extra 11. Who needs 11? Just give me retail plus shipping plus gas. Like that's what it was. This whole I need $200 over a box like that. When I first got into sneakers, it was none of that. And then a lot of the times when we were online, it was only like 6 of us, so everybody got a pair. And then you was able to hook up your homie that was sick and he couldn't make it, or he had work, or he didn't have enough money, and you can just say, "All right, pay me back." Like there were so many endless ways to get shoes so easily. And like I said, we had no sneakers out, we had no raffles. There was all you did was camp. When she started to get a little bit more popular, like, and then even I got more educated through Nike Talk, through different like ISS, word of mouth. I've at that point, like I said, we had Nike Talk. I've acquired friends that like live on the West Coast, live down south. So you're getting information like, oh, this house is going to get this. This particular boutique is going to get this. This is when you start to learn what's an Awake, what's a Kith, what's Atmos. You start to learn about these boutiques and these different choices, because it was really kind of Foot Locker and then the local mom and pops. You didn't know about these chains like, oh, it's the Atmos in DC, it's the Atmos in Harlem. You go here, they came out for these. Oh, there's a House of Hoops in Harlem, and there's only 3 of them. There's one in Harlem, there's one in LA, and there's one in Chicago. Oh, they about to open one in Cherry Hill, so now you got to drive from Atlantic City to Cherry Hill, New Jersey. And then so you start to learn. Sneakers start to get popular, so they open up more chains, they open up more stores, more pairs, more availability. And then you start to plan. I remember when I first camped out at House of Hoops Harlem. Bro, I got on the Greyhound bus.
Nothing. I have nothing but bad memories of House of Hoop Harlem.
I'm from Jersey.
Yeah.
Born and raised my whole life. I never really lived anywhere outside of Jersey. I got really, really sick one year and got pneumonia. My sister lived in Brooklyn. I lived in Brooklyn for like half a year, half a school year. I got pneumonia real bad. Lived with her in Brooklyn. I never had any bad campouts in terms of like me not getting a pair. Like I've never camped for a pair of sneakers and not gotten them. House of Hoops Harlem specifically. I mean, it's a beast. Harlem's a beast. Dudes is out there. I mean, this is when like popularity really started to set in.
Yeah.
Sneakers weren't like mainstream, but they were definitely like on the rise. Like people in the neighborhood were trying to get pairs. They were trying to get flour. They knew it was like you can make a couple dollars, or you can pay somebody $50 to hold your spot, to get a pair or whatever, things like that. I mean, I camped out for Kobe's in House of Hoops Harlem. And Tracy Morgan pulled up in like a Lamborghini.
Yeah, he always used to just drive around that Lamborghini, man.
I've camped out for shoes out in front of House of Hoops Harlem, and like they came out with the paddy wagons, and that's I'm from Jersey. There's no paddy wagons really like that. Like so, like to see them in New York with the paddy wagons to threaten to block people up there, that was a thing. I remember camping out when Michael Jackson first passed away, and like everybody like. 125th was like packed. Everybody in front of Apollo, it's right across from Apollo.
Right across from
everybody's out there. Like I said, I camped out in Cherry Hill House of Hoops for 8 days for Galaxy Foams, and that was probably the worst camp. Like, that's the camp that was like I was on my way out of camping, because it was like, this ain't it. Like I've already wasted 8 days, and then the foolishness of people trying to scam, trying to cut the line, people wanting to fight, and all that was rough. But House of Hoops Harlem was really good to me. I got a lot of good pairs. I camped out a lot. I got KD's scoring titles from there.
That's the one that I have the worst. Like that shoe is the reason why I don't do overnight campouts ever.
Really?
Yeah. KD scoring titles. I tried to camp out on 21 Mercer. It was me and my boy Chris. Literally spent I didn't have a lot of money, so I was working just a regular job at the time. So like me and my boy Chris, he picks me up, right? We go and buy chairs from from the pharmacist Dwayne Reed. That was around the block. Go there, and then we just we stroll up and we see there's two lines on each side. There's like a bunch of people staying on one side together, sitting down, and then there's another bunch of people on the other side. So we don't know which side is the line. So then
Yeah.
we were just like we're asking people like, yo, is this the line? Are we on the right side? And
Yeah.
then then finally we just sit there, and then we finally it's about time for us to start. Everybody starts getting up. We stay the whole night. We start getting up. They're about to open up. It's like 10 o'clock. Yo,
Yeah.
there was a bunch of dudes across the street on the stairs that was across the street from 21 Mercer,
Hmm.
waiting for until there it was time, and all they did was bum rush, pushed everybody
Yeah.
out of the way,
Yeah. I hate that.
shut the whole thing down. It was
I
terrible.
hate that. Yeah, I
Yeah.
hate that. Even so, I used to also travel from New Jersey to New York when they should do the Dornbachers and Nike. I don't know. You remember?
Mm-hmm.
You remember?
Yeah, I remember that.
So I would do that, and then I like they used to be so many pairs. You can just get your pair, go to the end of
Oh
the
yeah,
line, do
loop
it
it.
again. So I would do that and just help my friends out, bro. It's like I told you, this is a time there was no. So the resale wasn't really a crazy thing, but like it was, you can get an extra couple dollars probably. But I
Yeah.
was helping my friends. Like I said, I would loop the line. They would text me, bro, I need an 8.5. Oh, I need a 10.5. Yo, can you grab me? Bro, I would leave with like no lie. I got a picture out there. I'll post it on my Instagram whenever when this is ready. I'll post it the same day as soon as this podcast is ready.
Uh-huh.
Bro, I would get like 8 to 10 pairs plus of every Dornbacher. I'm talking about the Dornbacher ones, the threes, the fours, the twos. After I think
I
after the
wish I knew
six,
you. I wish I knew you back
bro,
then.
I used to have so many pairs of these shoes. And like I said, all of it was retail plus shipping. I think the only period of time where I had to like upcharge is when
Hmm.
I would need to bring my nephew with me. And this is when he was in the skateboarding
Yeah.
and Nintendo DS. So he would be like, yo, I'll come out, but like can you buy me a game? So I would say, all right, yo, just send me $30. He wants to get new wheels for his skateboard deck, or he wants the new skateboard game for the DS. So they would send over $30 and so he can get his game or his whatever for his skateboard. And that was it, bro. Never upcharge. There's nobody that can text you or email or retweet and say, oh, Daryl overcharged me during this era. Bro, I literally never charged over $30. And only the time when I had to bring him out. If it was just me, bro, give me retail, shipping, and if it's tax, that's it. And in New York got tax. In Jersey, we
Yeah.
didn't have tax. So if I got it in Jersey, bro, just give me retail and shipping, and it's coming right to you. That's it.
That's shoot. You were clutch back then. I mean, I've never gotten that oop like that. And I always cuz like I was big when during that time during the sneaker form time, I was
Yeah.
big into Nike SBs. And so
Mm.
so sneakers are very like exclusive sneakers were very hard to find, but
Oh
Nike
yeah,
SB
yeah.
exclusives
Harder to find.
were like
Yeah,
you gotta be friends
yeah.
with the skateboard shop.
Yeah,
You gotta do a kickflip. Like it was always like
yeah,
some oh
yeah,
my god, some craziness. But
yeah. Nah, I feel you. So SBs, I dabbled in them,
yeah.
but I never like went like I actually had a nice like SB collection. Like I had Miss Pac-Mans, I had
Mm-hmm.
Newcastles, I had Ferris Bueller's, I had Skunk Dunks, I
Mm.
had PB Herm, I had dunks, but like I didn't go crazy. Like we had a skate shop and I knew a guy there, but like, and I would camp out or I would just wait in line or they would get them. SBs kind of came out on random days sometimes, so I would just wait
Yeah.
and grab them. My bread and butter was usually Jordans and Nike basketball.
Mm-hmm.
That was my bread and butter, and I had SBs on the side. But I had a nice collection. Looking back, I had some nice SBs. But yeah, SBs are definitely like harder to get. But to be honest, bro, like
Uh-huh.
everybody thinks it's easy. Like, all right, like I like this era now. You just go on a sneaker app, put your bid in, you put your entry in, and you just let it go. Like give it up to God, and if you win, you win.
Give it up to do
Bro,
your Hail Marys.
bro, I'm speaking for me and only me.
Yeah.
I miss camping. Like,
Mm-hmm.
bro, when I camped, I never missed a shoe. And it's not me talking cocky, not me being arrogant, like because I put the work in. Like,
Right.
if
Yeah.
if if the estimated times like, all right, we're going to camp, like you're going to camp, you probably don't got to camp that long. You probably got to camp 8 hours. I would just go the whole day before and just camp.
Mm-hmm.
If it was like, yo, you probably gonna be a day camp, I go like 2 days, 3 days early in this camp. Like I put the work in so that I could touch every shoe. So that's how it was. And like now it's hard to get shoes from me because there's literally no camping. You just gotta pull
Nah,
up. You got
yeah.
raffles.
it's the I get that part, right? And I think like putting in the work makes you appreciate the
Hmm.
shoe more. Right now, it's like oversaturation. There's a shoe dropping every day, more a
Bro,
couple
every
shoes drop every
day.
day,
My goodness, every day.
and it's
Yeah.
like, and I think, and we could talk about it, like you know, like Twitter and like all these social medias, like you know the how people just want to show that they have the shoe. How now it's all about how early they've gotten the shoe, right?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
the way that sneakers before was just like we it was just a collective group talking about shoes and appreciating shoes. Like we
That was it. That
my
was it.
biggest thing, and I posted about it on Twitter too. It was just like it's interesting how we can't go we can't I can't come to you now or like so say if you're like a newer sneakerhead, I can't come to you and tell you I don't like a shoe, right? I
Yeah.
have to like this shoe. I have to have the same opinion as you.
Word, word, word.
Forums were about people not agreeing with you, like,
Exactly.
and it was
Exactly.
you telling your story why these shoes
Exactly.
matter to you, and then
Exactly.
it'll like some people you'll get some people turn around and be like, nah, you got a point, like, and then it changed the shoe for them because it gives them a different meaning. It's not
Yep.
just a brand selling you something, and
Exactly.
now it's just like, oh, we're being told stories and we don't know if they're true, like so
Hmm. Exactly.
right,
Exactly. Exactly.
instead of it being like, oh, why can't this shoe have my own story, because that's what it was like
Exactly.
before. It was
Exactly.
just they were putting out, it was just team colorways, or like it was like, I mean, and the rare collabs, but now we're just getting collabs out the wazoo, so it's
Oh
just
my
like,
God.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
bro. It's a
it,
is this a different time now? Is
mhm,
this sneakers are too mainstream? It's
mhm,
so much money on the table, and these brands are just out to get they out to get every dollar. And then you have the consumers, people like us, or well, I guess they're different than us, that like they fall into hype, or they want to
mhm,
create hype, or they have non-pure intentions where they don't love this sneaker thing. They're just in it for the money, or they're in for the fame, or they're in for it for the notoriety. There's
mhm.
so many different aspects and layers to what it is to be a sneakerhead nowadays, when it used to not be that. It used to just be like, hey, I love this shoe, and you love shoes, and I love shoes, and we just going to talk about these shoes all day, and that's it. Like I said,
It's
it used to be a secret society, and now everybody's in on it. Everybody wants to be a part of it. Everybody wants to be involved in it and involved with it.
mhm.
And it's just different. It's not the same. I mean, I still love it the same way, if not more. Sneakers has afforded me a lot of opportunities and a lot of things I thought I would never be able to do because of sneakers and
Mhm.
my involvement and my love and my passion for shoes. But it's definitely different from the day that I decided to do it till today. But
I mean,
evolution,
yeah.
evolution.
How do we? I mean, now I think we're at this point where a lot of people aren't falling for the ingenuine, the disingenuineness
Yeah,
of like sneaker
yeah,
content,
yeah,
and so
yeah,
I think it's starting to change. Like, I mean, Mr. Ruffles, everybody's feathers, sneaker fetish. He's always just like, he always has
yeah,
a crazy take every day. But like,
yeah,
Kari was just like he's been like recently this week he was talking about um why brands aren't hollering at sneaker YouTubers, and it was
yeah,
just like, and it's like because like the reason they're picking up on like people who are like making content on TikTok, so because it's like 6 second content, like it's
yeah,
like it's just in and out. Like these people are just like you're trying to get turned up, and then get eaten up by all of this that
yeah,
is just like social media, like,
yeah,
and so when people are starting, and I think the people who are getting into sneakers and seeing, the people who are truly into sneakers, and then they
yeah,
go, I want to be more like that. Like I want to feel the appreciation. And then you also have other people who are just constantly hating, and it's like it makes like sneakers not look inclusive, and it's just like,
yeah.
you're gonna get that. And I think I don't know. I think that the hardest thing is that when it comes to sneakers, it's we all grew up in an era where we couldn't have it when it was at its best,
Facts,
right?
facts. That's agreed. Yep,
And that
yep,
that can
yep.
go that goes for everybody, even now, like kids now. Like they'd be like, okay, I really want these shoes. I don't have the money. So then they have to wait until they, so by the time the person who is 15 or 10 to 15 that wanted this shoe really bad couldn't get the money for it, when
Yeah,
they're 25, 30, they're going to go back and try to get that shoe because
yeah,
that's how you create grails, right?
yeah,
And
yeah,
it's once we get to that point, then we'll be at a different stage of sneaker culture. But I think there's always ebbs and flows because I remember when I first started jumping into this, started jumping into collecting kicks, like everybody was always like, "No, man, you're not supposed to skate your dunks. No, you're not supposed to do this. You're
yeah,
not supposed to do
yeah,
this."
yeah,
And then enough people were just like, you just be yourself, like,
yeah,
and
yeah,
yeah, that's where I think that's where we're starting to get into where people are just like, just be yourself, like, enjoy
for
what you're
sure,
getting, enjoy
for
what,
sure.
yeah, so yeah, I definitely wanted to talk about like, how'd you become the Mamba expert?
Before we get to that, I just want to say shout out to Kai,
Yeah,
Sneaker
yeah,
Fetish.
yeah, yeah,
That's
yeah,
my guy. That's my
yeah, yeah,
guy. He
yeah.
definitely they definitely give him a hard time on
Hmm.
Twitter. They definitely try to put his head on the stake sometime. He a good dude. I don't have anything particularly negative to say about him. Not that anybody does or should. He a good dude. I haven't had any bad or negative experience with him. Actually, every experience I've ever had with him and talking with him has always been positive. So
Yeah.
just so shout out to him.
Hmm.
Um,
Yeah, I mean, listen, he always pulls me up on spaces when he'll be like, "Yo,
oh
this."
yeah,
I mean, we follow each other. I mean, I like I
yeah,
said,
he's a
that's
good
why I
dude
say like he's Mr. Push Your Buttons because that's what
for
he,
sure,
you know,
for sure.
he's great at starting a conversation and then get
Yeah,
people get angry at
absolutely.
them instead of just like say what you want to say
Hmm.
and try not to just make it like so that you're trying to knock him down or something like that.
Yeah,
So yeah, yeah,
yeah,
but yeah, it gets kind of crazy in
yeah.
his mentions.
Oh yeah. I wouldn't want to. I wouldn't want to have his Twitter for one day. I couldn't imagine. I couldn't imagine like the mentions and the retweets and the quotes and the DMs. I would like the things that he doesn't show us. I wouldn't even want to. I couldn't imagine because the things that he even shows us is kind of like, or that I see or come across my timeline. I couldn't even imagine. And I'm sure I don't see everything because I'm not always. I usually get on Twitter, tweet what I'm going to say, and then I
Yeah.
get right. I get right
Yeah,
out.
I'm with you.
I spend a lot of my time on Instagram, and
Hmm.
I actually try to stay like not on any of it and consume a lot of it.
Hmm.
Period. But I usually, like I said, I usually quote send my little tweet out, and then I'm usually gone. So I don't see a ton of, but the stuff that I do see, I'm just like, oh wow, they at his, they're going, they're coming after him. But to answer your question, I got into Kobe's when I first,
Yeah.
started watching Kobe Bryant.
Hmm.
My dad was a Laker fan, and I inherited my Laker fanship and my love for the Lakers from him. And I remember watching Kobe Bryant playing and like falling in love with with the Lakers, being a fan of his. Then as I started to like learn more about the game of basketball, learn more about the NBA, learn more about the Lakers and their lineage and their history, also learning about sneakers and all these things. I started seeing, oh, like, oh, he's wearing these shoes. Like, I need to go get these shoes. He's wearing Adidas and things like that. So like that started to be a thing. Then I told you I'm from South Jersey.
Hmm.
We're right next to Philly. Like, Philly kind of like adopts us or we adopt Philly or whatever way. So I remember the NBA finals, '01 finals.
Hmm.
And all of my friends were Philly fans. I remember getting on the bus every morning, everybody being a Philly fan. And Philly was going through the first round, the second round, Eastern Conference Finals, and Lakers are sweeping every round. We
Yeah.
4 3-0, 3-0, 4-0, winning every round. And I remember it was the Lakers versus the Sixers. I'll never forget this. And everybody knows I'm a Laker fan. Everybody's like, Lakers are gonna lose. This is Philly Iverson's gonna get his title. I'm just like, nah, like Lakers are gonna win this. Like, don't worry, it's gonna be, it's gonna be quick.
Hmm.
I'm talking trash, they talking trash. And everybody starts talking about Kobe shoes, like, oh, he got those Adidas on, those moon boots, those are ugly, nobody would wear those, everybody's talking trash.
Uh-huh.
And then I remember Lakers lost the first game. Iverson went in the overtime. This when he stepped over Tyronn Lue. This is like when he had 40, I think 41 points or something like that. So like I
Hmm.
get on the bus and they're like hounding me. I sometimes I close my mind, I think about it, and I can see myself walking walking to the back of the bus in slow motion. Everybody's just like dogging, like every lane. Everybody's just got something smart and slick to say. Ultimately, I had the last laugh because Sixers never won another game.
Yeah.
But it also, like I said, catapulted my admiration and my love for the game of basketball, for the Lakers, and for Kobe.
Hmm.
And then the more I started to like hone in and like research and study Kobe and his game, like I wanted to play like him. I wanted to have the same swag as him. I wanted my fadeaway to be like his. I wanted to
Hmm.
dribble like him. I wanted to shoot like him. And then it was like, oh, like he wears these Adidas. I need these Adidas. He has a free agency here. He's wearing Jordans. I need this. I need that. Whatever he wore, then he got his Nike brand. It was like, oh, he's gonna have his own shoe. Like,
Hmm.
oh, I need everyone. I need all of his shoes. And then the shoes came out. And then after that, it was like game over. Once he's got the Nike, because I'm a Nike guy, but wherever
Hmm.
when he was with Adidas, I was like I liked his Adidas and everything. But when he came to Nike, it was like because when he came to Nike, I had my own money. I was working a job.
Hmm.
So it was like, oh, this is game over. I need everyone. Give me everyone. So I've been collecting shoes. I've been collecting his shoes for over 20 years, man. I'm 34 years old. I've been collecting his shoes for over half my lifetime.
Shoot, man. I mean, listen, today's my birthday. I am 35 now, so I know
Oh, happy
I've been
birthday.
there.
Happy birthday. Happy birthday. So
Thanks.
you like a month older than me because my birthday's
Yeah.
next month.
Oh
I'll be
snap! All
35
right.
next month.
I'll remember. I will remind myself to tell you happy birthday.
Yeah.
I mean, it's wild. Like I remember when the toasters came out. You know, New York
Mm-hmm.
was like nobody want
Vicious.
nobody
Yeah.
wanted them.
Yeah. Yeah.
What was your thoughts when they brought it back?
When they brought it back, I was happy because there were some
Yeah.
colorways that I didn't have. And in this particular go around, they actually released pairs that had never released before.
Right.
They
Yeah. They
released
did that
these.
Laker. Yeah. They did
Yeah,
that Laker
the
colorway.
white and the black, that white and black pair had never came out.
Hmm.
So that was a good feeling. Then it was kind of like, all right, Nike is not handling the release the way I would like to since he passed away, talking about from 2020 to
Right. Yeah.
now. He had handful of releases that like I was unsuccessful in obtaining. So it's like, oh, like Adidas is dropping these,
Mhm.
and I can get them. I mean, Adidas actually even sent me a handful of pairs like for free. So like I actually got a couple pairs I didn't have to pay for. So like it was like, oh, like this is night
Damn.
and day. This is night and day from what's going on at Nike. And like I told you, I'm a Nike guy, but it was like something's got to give. Like I love Kobe.
Hmm.
He's motivated me on the court, off the court. My everyday life is kind of like Mamba mentality,
Mama
like
mentality. Yeah.
push through. That's a real thing for me. That's how, like I said, that's how I live my life. And like I said, he's been like one of the most motivating people in my life.
Hmm.
Um, so like I said, I wasn't able to get it for Nike. So I was like, oh, I'm gonna get him. I'm gonna get him wherever I can get a pair of Kobe's to satisfy, the need. I'm gonna do it. And if it's a pair I don't have, add more to the collection, more to the stash. So that's what that was.
Yeah. One of my, I was like, I've always wanted a pair, and I didn't pull the trigger because they ended up hitting Marshalls at one point. But it was the,
Yeah,
do you
yeah,
remember the it was it the Crazy Eights? But it had Kobe written down the middle.
yeah,
Uh,
yeah, 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 yeah,
I
yeah,
want
yeah. I know.
and black
Yeah,
and purple and yellow. Those were
yeah,
crazy. I used to
yeah,
love that shoe, man,
yeah, yeah,
because it was just like it had the zigzag on it. Like it
yep,
looked wild, and I was like, I just want to play ball in those because I love
yeah,
playing ball in Kobe's. Like I think Kobe's
yeah.
are super comfortable. I have the pair I wear now to play ball in is the NXT FFADs with the,
Oh yeah, those are
yeah,
amazing. Yeah, those are
yeah.
amazing.
I love those. And I mean, listen, when he tore his Achilles and he was like, you know what? We making shoes for performance. Like
Yeah,
we're doing the Kobe
yeah,
system. Like I was
yeah,
like, all right, you
yeah,
got me. I'm in. I'm in. Get
yeah,
me like
yeah,
you can buy me
yeah,
with tech easily
yeah,
because
yeah,
he
yeah.
went, and then they brought in the elite like
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Nike was doing that elite series
Yep.
for those three models at that time, and I was just
Yep.
like I
Yep.
because like I said, until so I was collecting Nike SBs strictly. I was Nike SB everything for I want to say 6 years maybe,
Okay.
something like that. and it took me until the fire red threes came out
Okay.
because I saw somebody wearing them. I was like, yo, those are clean. And then from
Yeah.
there, I bought those when they dropped, and
Yeah.
I was the collection, nothing, anything in sight was getting bought. So
Yeah.
I from
Yeah.
there it opened the floodgates for me
Yeah.
to buy more stuff, and like
Yeah.
that's how I ended up falling in love with Kobe's, and I
Very
was
good.
it's just wild. Like yeah, I hope they bring back a lot of the models, like whatever their whatever their plan is, but yeah, I definitely would love to get more Kobe's and be close to I don't
Sure.
know how many pairs you got now, just straight Kobe's.
I haven't counted, but probably 300, 300,
Man,
north of 300. Yeah.
what would you say is your favorite model? Not excluding the Grail. What's your favorite model? What's your favorite Kobe?
Probably the Kobe 5. Kobe
Fives.
5.
I think
Yeah.
it's like the sixes or sevens.
Yeah. Sixes are great. Sevens are
Uh,
great.
yeah.
They're all great. They're all great, in my opinion.
I mean, my favorite, which I wasn't able to cop, were the invisibility clothes. I talk about them on here all the time.
Oh, those are my faves. I
I
love those. I love
love
those.
those, man. That
Those are
that
good.
that shoe,
That was a game changer. That was a game
yeah.
changer. That was a game changer. That was a game changer.
uh, so then, like, I definitely want to know, like, when when the because you were there for the height of what I want to say, like the bubble that bursted, which was the Galaxy foams, right? Like after Galaxy foams, it was like everybody looked
Yeah.
at sneakers differently after that.
Very differently. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. 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 Yep.
And
Yep. Yep.
and what was it? What was it during that time for you?
Uh it was it was different because literally everybody was in it. Everybody was in it. Everybody wanted to be a part of it. And then you still
Mm-hmm.
have people that was kind of like, what is this thing? So
Mm-hmm.
now like is you and your friends in your secret society. Then you have a group of people that's like coming towards this thing that you love
Mm-hmm.
with their wallets out. But then there's like this bigger group of people that's like, what is everybody? What's that commotion over there? It's kind of like when you camp out and like everybody's walking by, like, what are you guys waiting in line for?
Oh
It's like
yeah.
that, but it's like they know, and like they're like pretty much like telling you like we're on the way, we're getting it, gathering information, like we're gonna
Mm-hmm.
be right there with you. It's not like, oh, like what are you weirdos doing? Like why are y'all waiting outside? And the store doesn't open till 10 and it's 5 a.m. It's not that. It's like, oh, like I'm on the way to come camp at 10 a.m. for the fire red fives. Like they already know. So it was that. Then like so I always blame three shoes
Mm-hmm.
to how sneakers got as mainstream as they did.
Mm-hmm.
And that's Concord 11s,
Mm-hmm.
Galaxy Foams, and South Beach LeBrons.
Oh
Those are
my
the
god.
three shoes. Those are the three shoes. See, some people just put the blame on the two. They say Concord 11s and they say Galaxy Foams. But I also put um the South Beach LeBrons in that mix too. And
South
it's
Beach
kind of like
LeBrons. I was gonna say like the South Beach LeBrons is my bad story at House of Hoops Harlem. It was
you didn't
uh,
get a pair.
I did not get a pair, and I saw a dude walk out the store with four pairs, and I was like, "You
Yeah,
serious?"
yeah,
Like they were.
yeah.
That was the big back door on that one. They were like,
Yeah. I heard a lot about I heard a lot about them. But no, yeah. So pretty much Concord 11s was kind of like people was pretty much like, oh, like I can go wait in line for a couple hours
Mhm.
and make a lot, like make some money, like make a couple dollars. I can like make some $100 or so.
Mhm.
Galaxy phone was like, I gotta wait in line, but if I obtain the shoe, I can make a boatload of money. I can make like situation changing money, not
Yeah.
life changing money, but I can change my situation. So like, if I gotta go change my transmission and like I got these, I can sell these and swap my transmission out. I'm good.
Mhm.
I don't gotta take out a payday loan. I don't gotta run no credit card pay. I can just like sell these and get $1,000 or $2.
Mhm.
The South Beach LeBron was a shoe to me was a shoe. This is how I interpret it to a reselling and changing the culture. A shoe can come out and initially not be wanted or have a high demand,
Mhm.
but time, whether it's short as a week or as long as 2-3 months, can pass and resell can shoot up through the roof depending on who wears it, what happens. the circumstances and the inspiration behind it. So those are the three. Like I said, those are the three shoes that I blame to why we are where we are now.
Yeah.
But like I said, that after that Galaxy phone, bro. So like I was coaching men's basketball. I was a college coach, basketball coach at the time. My players only kind of just wore, like, they wore Jordans or they wore basketball shoes. But after a while, I was like, oh, like, coach, I'm gonna be late to practice because I gotta go camp out for these shoes. Or like I'm camping out, like they're like in the off season, like they're camping out too, or like they're buying, asking me tips on where to get this shoe, what date is this release coming, how much is it gonna be? So like that was kind of wonky.
You getting them do sprints? You like, did you get them? No,
You know what I'm
like,
saying? Yeah. So then, like, I'm opening Facebook, and like usually it's kind of just like I look at my timeline, it's only me and my friends posting up our new pickups or things like that. Now I'm seeing like people posting their shoes and they're saying like for sale. This is what I'm seeing, for sale sign plastered all over my timeline. For sale, $300, $400. And like back then, that was the price of a PE. Like that, you can get something that was like super rare for like $300-$400, but like nobody would pay that because like, oh, that's three pairs of release date Jordan. So it's like, do I miss out on these three releases and get a P that nobody's really gonna have, or I'm gonna get these three releases? And a lot of times people elected to get those three shoes because I guess obviously three shoes better than one. PEs, nobody's gonna know what this is, or like it's never gonna go nowhere. Now like PEs are like thousands of dollars when it used to be like
yeah,
$500 max, bro. You get you something nice, limited that nobody has. But then that era came, like I said, and like everybody's selling these retros for that price. Like, bro, like even remember Master 12s, everybody was calling like the income tax 12s.
yeah,
Bro, those things were going for like $300-$400 for what? That was a regular black and white Jordan 12 that shouldn't, like, crazy. And then you started to see crazy colorways like selling out like retro 8s, the Bugs Bunny ones, and there's different colorways when they did the remastered series, and they did like the what was that, the Pearl 4s, and there's different Oreo 4s, like all those things are
yeah,
like reselling for crazy money. It's like, what is going on? So that's when I really started to notice everybody's in on it, everybody's here for $1. Then you start the stores that you frequent that usually got your size, they no longer like, yo, we can't hold you down. They kind of like, yo, we don't got your size. Where you think they come out Saturday at 10 p.m. I can get there around like 11 to 12 after, I run my errands real quick. Nah, your size ain't there available no more because 7 other people want that size now when nobody was checking for it. Now everybody checking for it. You know what I mean? So now there's a premium. You got to pay extra dollars. It was definitely very noticeable, the change and the shift
yeah.
after that release.
It was just like that. The tides were changing at that point
For
because
sure. For sure.
I remember. I mean, I'll tell you the South. Were you talking about LeBron 9 South Beaches or
9 and 8, I grouped them together,
yeah?
bro. I grouped them together.
Oh, okay, okay. Because I mean, the one I'm talking about is the elites. So when
The
the
9.
the 9 elites dropped at South Beach, I went to 42nd Foot Locker, tried there,
Mm-hmm.
struck out, immediately hopped back on the train, went all the way up to House of Hoops because
Mm-hmm.
somebody on the line was like, "Yeah, they got a bunch of pairs. You just got to go up there." And then I get up there and I'm thinking there was like 6 people on the line, and then I just see that dude walk out with like 4 pairs, and
Yeah.
I was just like, yeah, I'm not getting nothing. They were like, and then the manager comes out like, we're out of LeBron's. I was like, yeah, we saw you, the dude, just leave with all of them. Like, yeah,
Yeah.
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 So
Yeah.
yeah, man, it's well after that, like I stopped doing. I mean, it's happened to me a couple times where I would make the line because I wouldn't do overnight, but I would get there at 5 a.m. Like, and I'm not a
Mm.
morning person. I just get up at 4. I used to live in Manhattan at the time, so it was like
Yeah.
I could get anywhere within 20 to 30 minutes, like, or maybe
Yeah.
less
Yeah.
than that.
Yeah.
And so I would go to like Supreme, I would go to like Foot Locker at like
Okay.
4 or 5 o'clock in the morning, and
Yeah.
then wait online, and I would get the shoe most of the time. Like that's how I ended up with the Kobe's, or I would just like it would just be resellers. But it was the resellers that would it's the resellers that would make the effort and time to like talk to the managers, talk to the employees, like
Yep.
when it
Yep.
was like,
Yep.
and I mean I was asking my previous guest, Arian here, I was like, do you believe in resale culture? Because he was around the California resale, like Ground
Okay.
2 and stuff like that.
Okay.
And
Okay.
I know, like over here we had Flight Club. Like Flight Club
Yeah.
was the
Yeah.
beginning, basically.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, and so I knew, I was like, there is resale culture, because like there was an attempt to make this a thing where we could sell sneakers, and like,
Yeah.
and like, and it was always part of sneaker culture, because some people would just buy two pairs, try to get money for, so trying to get enough money for one pair so that you just paid for both pairs, and
Exactly.
like,
Exactly.
and then you just
Exactly.
double that up, you keep doing it, and
Yep.
you
Yep.
save money. So
Yep.
it
Yep.
it it did exist. I don't think it exists now it's like ridiculous now. Yeah,
Yeah.
all these
Yeah,
apps
bro.
and stuff, but
Yes, bro. I got so many apps on my phone, bro.
but as we like go towards the end of the podcast, I do want to do like one last question, and that last question is, I want you to think about when you were getting those Grant Hills, right? Like, I mean, you were about to get those 13s, but you ended up having to get Grant Hills, right? So
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
go back in that time, go think about that time, right? Now,
So go
hold
ahead.
on. It's a whole long
Okay.
question. It's a whole long
Okay. Okay.
question.
Okay. 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 I
So
got you.
now you're you. There's time traveling. You're able to like go back. You're standing behind yourself as you are about to open that box with the Grant Hills in it. What would you tell yourself?
I would tell myself that be grateful
Mhm.
because your mom didn't want to take you to get any extra shoes, and you still came and got a pair of shoes. The shoes that you got were a great pair of shoes. Side note, that particular pair is, like I said, it's part of my story. It's actually in my top 10 pair of shoes ever.
Mhm.
I would say like, hey, like this particular moment is going to spark a journey for you. It's going to spark a passion for you for something that's going to be a longevity type of thing, something that you're going to learn, you're going to learn about, you're going to love, and it's going to afford you a lot of opportunities. You're going to, you're going to work in the sneaker industry. You're going to travel about sneakers. You're going to be
Mhm.
in publications over your love of shoes. You're going to be on podcasts and books and magazines and all these things. So like this moment may not feel great because you're getting a consolation prize in this particular pair that you didn't want, but you're actually going to end up loving this shoe, still getting that shoe that you initially want later down the road, and you're going to appreciate it more. And this particular block in your story and in your journeys is going to be more fruitful and be more greater. I actually end up wearing that shoe, bro, like to the ground. I actually like
Yeah.
really end up falling in love with that shoe.
Uh-huh.
And that's like I actually like got the shoe. I had already knew Grant Hill, but I actually like end up appreciating his game. Always being like the tallest person in my class, so like trying to play like Grant Hill. I remember like I used to walk like and like drag my feet.
Uh-huh.
And I remember like this day, I remember like that was like the first shoe I had that was kind of like talking,
Yeah.
but it was only doing it on one shoe. I remember like, man, I remember like wearing those to the ground, but like really loving that shoe, even though it was a consolation prize. It was still a great shoe. So it's not
Mhm.
like, all right, said you can't get Jordan, so we got to go to Kmart and get you Power Ranger shoes. It wasn't that. It was still like, all right, we in Foot Locker, so you just got to get something different because they haven't got your size. So like in the moment, it was like I was salty, I was upset, I was sad, but it didn't last like probably that day, that maybe that week. But after a while, like I really grew to love that particular shoe. So I think I'll be behind myself saying like, yo, cheer up, turn your frown upside down, perk up, you didn't have to get this pair. Like you're lucky that your mom, took the time and the money and the effort to get you and help you track down a pair of shoes because you didn't have to get these. You are going to end up loving these shoes. It's going to be a part of your story. 20 plus years later, you're going to be on a podcast talking about this particular moment. So sit back and enjoy the ride. That's pretty much what I tell myself.
Damn, yeah. I mean, perfectly said. Thank you so much for jumping on, Daryl. Brother D.
Absolutely.
My
Absolutely.
bad, my bad.
Nah, absolutely, man. Anytime you need me, man,
Oh, definitely gonna
I'm
have you
easily
back.
accessible.
Definitely
Easily
gonna have you
accessible,
back.
bro.
Uh,
Easily
a-
accessible.
and for everybody out there, you know what we say every week: wear your kicks. Peace.
Peace.